Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai Bashem Warakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught me this truth, and including the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai Brakatham to the overall elect whom this gospel is for, and it's your brother Laban. Now, in this video here, I want to talk about something that needs to be spoken about, because men look at things, of course, because we're in the carnal world, so we look at everything from a carnal perspective. When what's really happening, spiritual things are having an effect in the carnal world, right? And what I want to talk about is the men that were on the scene, the Apostle Peter and John. Now, I don't know what I'm going to entitle this video, but of course it's going to be centered around the topic. As what was perceived in the book of Acts 4 and 13, how Peter and John were perceived as unlearned and ignorant men, simply because they didn't come from the schools of high learning. They weren't credited as such, and so they were needed to speak on the matters, on things that they were speaking about, unless you was a Pharisee or a Sadducee at the time. All right. And of course, it was the same thing during the time of Rome as they were in that time, where it was about that. It was about your credits. And so therefore you were believable to listen to. But you see, the Most High, He works in mysterious ways, as the saying goes. And the Lord picks out men that's coming from the low, men that are not credited, men that are inconsiderate in society. And there's a reason why the Lord uses men like this, is so that He can get the glory. Into saying that, look, I can take a bunch of nobodies and allow them to do damage to those, to confound their wisdom and the understanding of those that have already been established. So therefore, in all of that, the Lord is what? Magnified. Yahweh Shai was a prime example. He was healing the people. He came from Nazareth, the ghetto of Jerusalem at that time. So much it was said that, how can anyone good come from Nazareth? So when He was on the scene, He was confounding those Pharisees and Sadducees. And He declared Himself to be the Son of Man coming back, and many didn't believe until the dying of the cross. That's when everybody started to believe that He was that guy. So ultimately, who had a good name at the end thereof? Was it the Pharisees and the Sadducees that had a good name because of their position? No, it was Yahweh Shai. All right, and that's the same place we're going to. We're going to glory. So just like Yahweh Shai, He came from a low place and He was brought to what? Glory. And the glory that was of the things that He did was in His Father's will and power. Okay. So what I want to read this over here. This is Acts 4 and verse 13. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, I'm going to read this again, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahweh Shai. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahweh Shai. And beholding the man which was healed standing with them, they could say nothing against it. So let's read this as well. 1 Corinthians 1 and verse 27. But the Most High have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Absolutely. And the Most High have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. The base things of the world and things which are despised have the Most High chosen, yea, and things which are not, to bring to naught things that are, that no flesh should glory in His presence. Absolutely. And it's kind of like when vocab alone came on the scene for the very first time, which we're probably talking, 12 years ago now. He probably thought that coming up against us was going to be light work. because he went to those schools of higher learning. He was a theologist and all of this extra shit, right? But guess what? Instead of what happened was is what he expected to happen actually happened against him. It went the opposite direction. So now we've confounded him, and we found out that everything that these pastors and various preachers from around the way that we used to be under, and even these theologians, is that basically what we found out is that they're liars and so much more. They don't even know what they're talking about, as he thought, excuse me. All right? He thought we didn't know what he was talking about, and he was light work, and that he could confound us. But instead, what wound up happening is we wound up confounding them. And now they don't know what they're talking about, as that's been revealed. So what are we showing here? We're showing why we was put on this earth to do. It's to show the power of Yahweh Bashmi Shai, giving him the glory and to magnifying his name. And if you look at vocab alone and Dr. Brown and these niggas, they look exhausted, they look tired. Primarily, let's focus on vocab because he focuses on us more than Dr. Brown does. I mean, like I said, the nigga looks tired. He's stressed out. You can see the what's it called, man? You know when you're stressed out and you got a puffy face and your body's puffy. What's it called, man? There it is, cortisol. You can see the cortisol all over his face and his body now because he's stressed out. So anyway, let's continue to read on. But of him are ye in the anointed Yahweh Shai, who of the Most High is made unto us wisdom and righteousness and sanctification and redemption, that according as it is written, he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. And that is the point. We're here to glory in the Lord, so that he is glorified in the works that we do. Matthew 5 and verse 16 now. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Revelation 16 and verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like the frog coming out of the mouth of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast and out of the mouth of the false prophets. Now I read this because whenever you graduate from these higher schools of learning or colleges, this is what you got to put on, which is very reminiscent of what the Roman Catholics would wear. Because you got these schools that are tied to the Roman Catholic Church. So why would it make any sense for us to be graduating from these various colleges and being theologists when the school systems are pretty much under the guise of the spiritual demon Shaitan, under the Roman Catholic institution, the same institution that which is well known for sexually molesting children. All right? Just a thought. And so what I did was I researched the history behind this costume, the academic dress, the history of the academic dress. Today's academic regalia is purely symbolic of graduation. However, there was a time when it was worn by university students daily. Imagine wandering from class to class wearing a gown and hood. The novelty would wear fairly quickly. The academic dress originates in the 12th century when university institutions, which came from our people, by the way, were a part of the Roman Catholic Church. The ruling religious order of the day, it was in this period that the academic study was only done by church monks and clerics, and their roles required they be educated in religion, writing in statecraft. Study largely occurred in cold, unheated churches where cappa clausa gowns and hoods were worn to keep the clerics warm and they became official dress of academics in 1321. Yeah, so Jake basically came up with that wear. All right, and even the Roman Catholic institution, Jake came up with that as well. Going back to Saint Augustine, which was around the 2nd century. I believe it's either the 2nd century AD or the 3rd century AD. So that's where all of this comes from. All right. But the point is, it goes back to the Roman Catholic institution, which the Roman Catholic institution is based in Rome, Vatican Rome, which is one of the unclean frogs, which is the spiritual part of this system. Verse 14, for they are spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty. So there you go. So this system is dead set against the Most High, and they're going to try and battle the Messiah when he makes his second return. And we already know how that's going to pan out, as that's already written in Revelations 12 and 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. There are many colleges in the U.S. related to the Roman Catholic Church, including large universities, smaller colleges, and colleges with a strong Catholic identities. So the most of us that didn't go to these schools, again, thank the Most High for that, man. Thank Yahweh Bashmiel Shah for that. And a lot of these universities, this is how people become even Masons as well, to get into that world, to join the university. You know, there's a lot of satanic shit that goes on in these schools as well, man. And that's why when you so-called get your credits, right? They call it degrees and all of that stuff. Why they call it degrees? Because you're on a certain level in that world. Just like in the brotherhood, there's many various degrees. You have, what is it, 33 degrees, right? So you become on a certain level when you get on the left hand side of things. And it can start in those institutions, those universities. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4, in whom the Most High, or the God of this world, let me just read it verbatim, have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the anointed one, who is the image of the Most High, should shine onto them. Let me read this again. In whom the Most High of this world, 2 Corinthians 4 and 4, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the anointed, who is the image of the Most High, should shine onto them. And that's just the thing. Most people are not going to believe in what we're teaching because it doesn't coincide with what the world teaches. And plus, people are under the influence of the spiritual demon Shaitan on the left-hand side of the Most High. So, again, they're not going to believe in what we're saying, and we expect that. We're not upset because we don't have a lot of people drawn to us. And you see, this is the thing. Vocab Malone and all of these people that have been credited and established in this society to speak on matters concerning the Bible, they assume if they put a stop to us, then that's going to stop our business. We don't look at this as a business. We don't care about how many people are drawn to our videos. We're only concerned about one thing and one thing only, is that it's about a small group, a number of people, which are the elect, which are going to come into this thing. All right? We don't really have much to lose. We didn't turn this truth into a business. Now, maybe the boys in purple may have a different mindset because they've turned it into a business. Yah should be king. Same thing with them, but with us over here in Great Millstone, this ain't a business to us. This ain't a physical business. This is more of a spiritual business. Okay? This business is spiritual rather than it being physical with financing. 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 5, for we preach not of ourselves, but the anointed Yahushua, the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. And that's another point that I want to elaborate on as well. We're servants of Yahushua. We're not the servants of the government, because we've signed a 501c3 contract with them, and we're tied to the government now. And so now we got to play to the rules of the government. We're servants for their sakes. No, we're servants of Yahweh Shai. The way it's supposed to be. When you leave the world, you're supposed to be free from the world. As it is written, the truth shall make you free. So you're free from one situation to not being free in another situation. So you're serving now the Most High through his son Yahweh Shai. That's what you become. So rather than looking at the world as something that you need to follow and to be a part of, you don't have to follow and be a part of the world anymore. You don't have to. Rather than being in the world and living up to the expectations of it, that is no longer the case. You're now living in another world, which is based on you and your maker, and you serving Yahweh Shai. So now you're doing what's expected of you, what he expects you to do. Okay? Verse 6, for the Most High who commanded the light to shine out of darkness have shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Most High in the face of Yahweh Shai the Anointed. But we have in this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of the Most High and not of us. Absolutely. So once again, this truth is for the sake of glorifying our Father, us coming from a low place, and therefore showing the power of our power, what it's capable of. Again, we're already doing this. We're coming up against people that are credited, and we're stressing them the hell out. We're not stressed out because of them. They're stressed out because of us. That's the difference. And if it was up to them, they wouldn't. I don't think they would want to continue to debate us anymore. All right? Because they're tired, they're exhausted, they're stressed the hell out, and we're just getting started. Luke chapter 10 and verse 21. In that hour Yahweh Shai rejoiced in the spirit and said, I thank thee, O Father, the Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, the wise and the prudent of the world that was and the world that is today, and has revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight. And what is a babe? A babe is someone who is simple in wisdom and understanding. Let's get that in the book of Isaiah 28 and 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So there it is. So that's a babe, someone who is simple in the knowledge. Like I remember years ago, General Yohana, right? He said, you small in the Bible. Right? So you come out of the world and you're very simple to knowledge and understanding, and then the Most High will implant this information inside of you, or install, let me use that word instead. The Most High will install all of this information in you, and you will become wise. So it doesn't really give the glory to the Lord if you are already wise in this world, and he's going to build in you with this truth. He's going to take a bunch of nobodies to show his wisdom and his knowledge and his understanding towards the world, to confound everybody that has already been established. Again, once again, giving the glory and showing the power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's what we are here to do. All right, that's one of the main things we're here to do. So let me go back and read this again. In that hour Yahweh Shai rejoiced in the spirit and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and the prudent, which were the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So just imagine if they had this knowledge. Just that you can only but imagine how bad that would have even been if they had the knowledge. And so as it reads, and has revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight. All things are delivered to me of my Father, and no man knoweth who the Son is but the Father, and who the Father is but the Son, and he to whom the Son will reveal him. And I want to read something else. Yeah, so let's read this. This is it right here. This is Sirach 19 and 24. He that hath small understanding and fear of the Most High is better than one that have much wisdom and transgress of the laws of the Most High. And that's what the Pharisees were doing. They were transgressing against the Most High, because Yahweh Shai represented the laws. He represented everything which was of the book, the Old Testament, and as well as at the time in the making the New Testament and the law. He represented all of that. So they rejected him, therefore rejecting the Most High's will. So now let me go forward and let's read Isaiah, 28? Yeah, I've read that already. Let's get that out the way. Proverbs 8 and verse 5. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Herefore I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. And we heard those right things when we heard the apostles speak this truth, and we saw it in motion picture on the computer. A lot of us woke up due to the internet. Some of us saw the outer apostles on the streets, or the brothers on the streets physically, but a lot of us got this truth from seeing it from the internet's perspective, including myself. So that's how we got this wisdom, and now we're speaking excellent things, righteousness, and converting the souls. So what I want to do is I want to get into this topic over here, because down here in the UK, we have whom is called the Archbishop of Canterbury. He's already resigned already. And, a lot of people have wrote letters and got involved in petitions to get this guy out, because he was messing around with this one guy that was, sexually afflicting children and abusing them at the same time. Physically abusing them, excuse me. So he got caught in league with this guy, and this is why he has to now resign at the time, but he's already resigned as of recently. So let's watch this over here.
Anne MacLeod-Hartley told the BBC his position was untenable. It follows a damning report about a barrister thought to be the most prolific serial abuser associated with the Church of England.
So it's very hard to find the words to respond adequately to what the Macon report tells us. It's truly horrific, horrendous, and shocking. And I know in my diocese, through the work that we've done with victims and survivors, just how deep and how long-lasting this whole systemic, years and years of abuse, the impact not just on the victims and survivors of John Smythe, but on all victims and
John
survivors
Smythe.
of church-related.
That's the guy that abused all of these kids.
I think rightly they are asking the question, can we really trust the Church of England to keep us safe? And I think the answer at the moment is no.
And I mean, this is just my speculation. I don't really think she's shocked. A lot of these people say, these, Catholic clergy, church clerics, when these cases come up, they say, oh, this was shocking, but they're not really shocked, because this has been going on for years. This has been going on for years. Children have been abused, sexually abused by these church clerics for years. All right, we could talk about decades. We could talk about even throughout the centuries of this system. I mean, come on. We know how dark this society really gets. Now, there was a guy that had a quote, and I like the quote because it really hits home in this case of the topic, right? This is what he says. No matter how paranoid or conspiracy minded you are, what the government is actually doing is worse than you can imagine. Williams Bloom, his name is, former State Department employee. So you already know he knows what's up. He's an insider, so he can make that statement. All right? And he spent years probably being the department employee that he was. So now let me back it up and let me read a scripture here. Let's go and get this over here. This is Proverbs 15 and verse 8. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. And what does the wicked do? What they've been known to do, and it's been found out that they've been sacrificing children, man. Erecting those same gods that the angels were worshiping, such as the god of Molech and, those gods, like I said, equivalent. And so they do all of this stuff, sacrificing the lives of people and children just so that they can get the treasuries that Satan has for them, as they believe. And that's really how this society works. I mean, if you really want to succeed in this world, you have to tread through dark places. And each and every place that you get up into, or the ring that you get up into, it just gets extremely darker and darker and darker. All right? You have powers that are in this world that we don't see, that are working dark magics, man. That are doing odious works of wickedness. And whether you want to believe it or not, this is who we're spiritually battling, man. Okay? So the whole thing with children being abused by the church fathers and the likes, that stuff has been going on for years, man. That's nothing new. That's nothing to be shocked about. There's nothing to be shocked about whatsoever. All right? And now all of this stuff is coming out and is being revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. See, before this truth garnered attention as it did, we believed, whether you was a Roman Catholic, whether you was a Baptist church goer, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever the hell you was in the world, you believed that the pastors and the people that went to church, these were people of God. But when you came to this truth, and you've entered into these times where knowledge has been increased, now you're starting to see that all of these people that you used to believe in are not what they professed themselves into being. What you're finding out is that they're wicked. And this whole world life in wickedness. Okay? We're in a time of revelation now. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 7 once again. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Who is the mystery of iniquity? The evils which is proceeding from the wicked that the Bible speaks about. Who is indeed the Edomites? And who exposed that fact that the so-called white man, beginning with the JOO wishes, are the Edomites, the servants, the prophets, beginning with the elder apostles of the great millstone and the brothers on down. All right? Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And so that's what's happening again, is that the words of the Lord are exposing this devil for who he really was and for who he really is to date. So after that expose has been had, now the Messiah is going to make a second return to physically destroy it. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to this devil, is to see the Messiah destroy his society and everything that which he built it up, which is bound to come to pass anyway. Isaiah 47 and verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, and yea, thy shame shall be seen, and I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And yeah, the people that run this society and has the society on lock, stock, and barrel, again, it's been revealed that they are as wicked as they want to be. And they're as wicked as you can't even comprehend in your own mind. Right? So if there's some kind of wickedness that has been revealed to you, you got to think that there's much more greater stuff that's happening than what you've already seen already. Okay? And every single thing that was done in the dark is now coming to the light now. That's why you got P. Diddy and these celebrities, they all going down somehow, some way. These Hollywood actors are not as, inspirational as they once were anymore. Because people are finding out, whether they want to or they don't, they're finding out that in these last days that even Hollywood is all full of wizardry. It's all based on the left-hand side. And so therefore we're at the ending of this world, because this world can only but have thrived based on you being deceived in it. The illusions. Okay? So now let's continue on. This is 1 Samuel 2 and verse 9. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be in silent and darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces out of heaven, and shall he thunder upon them. And the Lord Yahweh shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Absolutely. So that's what the Lord is going to do when it's all said and done. He's going to expose this devil for what he really is by the spirit of his mouth. And when it's all said and done, the Lord is going to pretty much bring it all the way home. And we talking about the kingdom of heaven, establishing the 144,000, the 12, King David and Yahushua above him. All right. Yeah. So I think I said what I had to sing on this over here. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Bahasham, Wahar Rakak, Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops on down to the brothers all the way down as well. Yahweh Bashmi Shai Brakathum to y'all who are indeed the elect, whom this gospel is for, and to those that are learning and listening as well and growing thereby. Shalom.